Oh, it's me.
Yep.
What up, Doom Nation? This is Shane and Scagz, and we're here with another Doomed review for Marvel's Venom.
Oh yeah. Um, so no captain for this one. He couldn't get his butt in the seat of a movie theater to go see it.
I went the day it came out.
You did, didn't you? You went
Yep.
for the. I went a day or two ago, and I'll tell you what. Like I watched the first Venom movie. It was all right. I wasn't like that interested in seeing this one. To be honest, I kind of really went to go see it because so many people kept saying the end credit scene, blah 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 blah. People don't know how to keep their mouths shut, so I didn't know what was coming in the end credit scene.
Yeah,
But I'm
I,
not dumb. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
had to stop. I'm an avid TikTok watcher. I had immediately, they're like, oh, if you don't plan to see Venom, continue this for the end credit. I was like, nope, 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 nope,
I
nope.
know. I had to, yeah, even on our podcast
I'm like, it
TikTok.
was literally that day. I was like,
Yeah,
hold up.
people have no chill.
I mean, I'm one for spoilers, but there's certain things where I don't want it to be
Yeah.
spoiled.
Yep. It takes the moment away
But I
from
will
you.
say, I have no knowledge of Venom outside of these two movies.
Sure.
I never saw Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
So outside of those, I literally didn't know what it was.
So I have a little knowledge of Venom. I did see Spider-Man 3, which was terrible. I read for a while a Venom comic line, and it was a more recent one in the 20 teens. And it was kind of like an Agent Venom where it's not Eddie Brock anymore. It's Flash Thompson, I believe
Okay.
his name is. He's kind of like an old army vet who gets like the government kind of like gives him the symbiote and it's like, here, you put on the Venom symbiote, like it'll give you legs again. You could go out and like do good things, like you could be a soldier again, kind of using Venom.
Isn't Flash also like Peter Parker's like bully all throughout high school?
I don't know. I don't know. That'd be a question for the captain. Anyway, I don't know. That was a little bit of a tangent, but that was a pretty good comic book storyline for Venom. I thought it was interesting. The first movie was all right. Honestly, you watched the first movie, right? It wasn't great.
First Venom?
Yeah, the first
Yes,
Venom.
I did see
It
the
wasn't
first Venom.
great. Honestly, I felt like the first one didn't live up to the hype.
I was right.
The expect it was. Oh, it was
I
okay.
think so.
All right, interesting. All right, I didn't even think of that. So the first one I didn't think lived up to the hype. I wasn't excited for this one. I really, like I said, went to go watch it because I knew it was going to be important somehow. So I liked about this movie, Venom. I feel like Tom Hardy does a pretty good acting job being Venom. And it's like
And
as I was
Eddie
watching the
Brock at the same
movie,
time.
yes. Obviously that's funny because he's also doing the voice of Venom.
Yeah.
But I feel like he looks like a disheveled like bipolar person. Like that's not easy to pull off as an actor, like to look that way.
Yeah.
And he looks like it. Like he looks like disheveled, bipolar. Like he looks stressed out all the time. It's because he literally has Venom in his ear at all times
Like
of the day.
he has no thoughts to
Himself. He looks exhausted from dealing with Venom all the
Like-
time. So I hand it to Tom Hardy. Great job in at least acting that part out. Yeah.
I will say he did do a really good job of literally playing two roles, two completely different people, well, person and alien. But like I said, outside of these movies, I don't know anything about him. From what I'm getting, Venom is very like, I'm right, you're wrong. Do what I say. I'm gonna do this better than you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what Eddie needed.
Kind of.
What I can see, because it really seems like he didn't really have his life together. I mean, he kind of did. He was a news reporter, was getting married, all these things. Venom comes along, kind of everything Eddie does from there on out is not that great, and Venom is kind of helping bringing him back.
Yeah.
'Cause
They're
he's the eyes behind in the back of his head.
yes.
Because in this movie, we see like he goes to visit whatever. Oh my God, what is his name? Woody Harrelson's character.
I can't remember his name either for some reason. Carnage.
Carnage,
basically.
yeah, the guy who plays Carnage. I know, I'm awful.
That's okay.
Credence is the last name. Can't remember the first name. Sorry. So he basically, when they go to visit him, he's like, "You didn't see that on the wall?" And he was like, "No." He goes, "Well, this is why I'm here," and like draws out all the things that were on what's his name's wall.
Right. Keep going. I'm trying to look it up
I
in the
know
meantime.
my brain is like blanking on me. It's been a long
Yeah,
day.
like yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. The thing is, like, I agree. Venom's trying to be like like the right hand, or I guess you could
Yeah,
say.
right hand man.
So you're right. He is trying to kind of help Eddie throughout the whole
Cletus
movie.
Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy. How did I not remember that? I
I
don't
said
know.
Credence.
Some Marvel fans we are. Credence
That's the
Water Clear
that's a
Revival,
character from
whatever.
the oh my god,
I don't know. We're
Fantastic Beasts.
okay. I never watched that.
Yeah.
My favorite thing of this movie was the relationship between Venom and Eddie. That outshone every other aspect of this movie, in my opinion, and that made the movie for me. I thought they did a great job of
It
displaying
kind of
that.
truly showed that they need each other.
Yes,
Like, despite all the fighting, like they literally fight like an old married couple.
yes,
They actually do need each other. Like Eddie needed Venom to help him on jobs. Venom literally physically needs Eddie to survive
right, to
because he
eat.
was trying to like be symbiotic with all these other
He
people,
couldn't.
and he couldn't. He was like draining them of everything, and they all died.
Right.
So it's kind of like cool to see that that's literally what they needed.
Yeah.
Because they also showed it in the movie. Flash forward a little bit, that Cletus and Carnage were not symbiotic.
Yeah.
Like they weren't able to. They both had completely different paths to what they wanted. That their bodies were not
They kind of
connecting.
made like a deal, like a bad guys deal in the very onset, but as soon as their goals didn't align, right?
Once Carnage wanted to do something that he did not want to do at all, he was like, no. And you could see them like separating.
Right.
And it also kind of goes into show that his like love interest is the reason Carnage could not like go on.
Right. It was weird. It didn't
Like
fit.
it just him being in love with her just showed right then and there that Carnage and him were not going to be a good connection.
And when you compare it to Eddie and Venom, Venom was rooting so hard and trying to help Eddie get his girl back every which way that he could, to the point where like Venom even will latch on to them to like get back to Eddie and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like completely, obviously different.
They both
symbiotes.
hate
Yeah.
Dan.
Yes. Right. I thought the movie was very funny. They did the humor very
There was
well.
a lot of good comedic moments.
I'll be honest with you though, I wasn't very impressed with Woody Harrelson and the whole Carnage character. Even like the symbiote, like Carnage itself, it just, I don't know, it looked like too much CGI. Like obviously,
Yeah.
a symbiote's gonna have to be CGI'd, but like it didn't look very well done. If that makes sense to
I
to
mean,
you, I
because
don't
like
know.
when you look at Venom and Eddie, like it fits and like it looks like it's supposed to look.
Right?
Carnage did look, I think, just a little bit more animated.
Yeah.
I think it could also just go with the size that Carnage had to be in comparison. I will also point out, I did not realize that's how Carnage came to be. I thought it was like a whole separate
So
symbiote
did
type
I.
of situation.
I'm not sure. I'm not a.
I didn't realize it was just Eddie's blood mixed with Venom turned into Carnage. I didn't understand how that worked, but this goes into, my lack of knowledge.
Yeah, me too. I don't know either. Let's see. Let's look it up.
After
Actually.
merging with the offspring of
Oh
the
yeah,
alien symbiote
there we
called
go.
Venom during
That
a
is.
prison breakout.
So yeah, Carnage was. I'm looking at his origin story from Marvel.com, and he became Carnage after merging with the offspring of the alien symbiote called Venom during a prison breakout. So yeah, they
Yeah.
actually stood pretty loyal to the comics there. Pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
I sincerely thought it was because I remember in the first movie you saw different symbiotes in different colors. So I thought it was like one of those
He was
got
just
out.
one of them, right? and he
That's what I
happened to
thought it
get-
was. I didn't know that it was going to be like, Dad, we're going to fight now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I thought was lacking. It's like his motivations weren't good. Oh, I got to kill my dad. Well, why? Why do you hate the other symbiote so much? Like it was not.
But it was also the combination of the fact that Cletus himself is a serial killer. So it was like they merged in that fact that it was like an evil symbiote mixed with a serial killer. So like they both had the same mindset of let's just kill everybody, but also Cletus also has that tiny bit of like humanity.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like kill everybody,
got-
but not the one person.
Right, because he's in love. Right.
and Carnage wanted to kill the one person.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So
that
they
kind
were
of like,
symbiotic. Another thing I didn't really like was Cletus and what's her name? Is his love interest?
screechy person.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her name is. Francis.
Yes, maybe.
I think it was
I feel like that
Francis.
might be it. Their relationship, them as villains, was so cartoony. They remind me of like Jesse and James from Team Rocket. And it was just like,
I
oh
I
boy, this is
think
so over the top, like cartoonish. It was
yeah,
not.
but I mean, it goes to show there were two mentally psychotic people that fell in love without ever actually meeting. They met in a mental asylum through a toilet,
Yeah,
and
through a toilet.
literally through the toilet. And he thought she was dead. She thought he was dead. Like, or no, she knew he was alive and just like left away. He thought she was gone forever. And I think it was just those are the only people they ever like knew, and they were willing to do whatever they could to get to the other one. But again, they were both mentally deranged.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
they never really had that time to like connect until they saw each other and they're like, yeah, let's just go on a murder rampage. Haha.
Yeah,
I'll scream a
yeah,
lot.
you're right. They are. I didn't think of it that way. That they both are clinically insane. I just felt like it was too cartoon villainish for like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, like maybe the very beginning Marvel
Like
movies.
beginning Spider-Man.
Right.
days.
Yeah, like if you watch the first Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, like those were very cartoonish in
Yeah.
a way. Like they were cheesy. This was kind of a little cheesy here and
I
there,
think
which I
with
didn't like.
beginning Marvel days, they were trying to stick with the like this is coming from like a cartoon
Right.
or this is coming from a comic book. Like we have to keep it like that. Versus now they have like the technology to make it more like action packed and
Right.
dramatic.
Yeah, but still,
So
yeah. I guess you got to keep in mind also this is not the Marvel Studios. This is really
this is
Sony. So it's like their touch on it. This also is a different universe, right? So things are different in this universe than the MCU.
no, this technically is also not part of the MCU.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
So
it's
like it's like a
they're-
different vibe
Yeah,
to it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's different.
I mean,
It wasn't my cup of tea though. Let's put it
I
that way.
I enjoy the comedic.
Yeah.
I enjoy the funny Marvel type movies. Like that's why I love Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I don't like Thor in Thor Dark World, but I love Thor Ragnarok because it is that comedic just to give that lightheartedness
Right.
to
But it's-
such like a serious
Yep.
series.
Marvel has, the MCU side has like the perfect recipe
Balance.
or whatever to making movies for the most part. Some of them have sucked,
Yeah.
but most of them have been good. Try and replicate that in any of the other
It's
superhero stuff. Go to
never
the
works.
DC stuff or go to the other Marvel stuff like this.
DC goes too
doesn't-
serious, and
yeah.
I think that's
Just nobody has that
like,
right recipe
balance. Yeah,
for
like
whatever
they
reason
can't
that
like
Marvel does.
get it
Yeah.
to match. Like I feel like what is it like the Flash TV series has
Got
a little
close.
bit
You
more.
got close in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like all the DC movies, they're not as I guess I don't want to say lighthearted. They're mostly serious
Right.
and they don't really give you any kind of like happiness.
Yeah, and when they do, they're like horseshoeing it in. It doesn't feel natural.
Yeah,
like
like-
even now, they've tried. I think they realized that they were too dark, so they've tried making them more funny. But now, like you realize, like, oh look, they're trying to make them more funny,
Yeah,
or more
they're
lighthearted.
trying
Right?
to
You
be-
can't try; it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
So Marvel has the perfect recipe, and I felt like anything outside of the MCU stuff is always just kind of lacking a little bit, and this was kind of lacking. Although the relationship between Eddie and Venom was hysterical.
Oh, I love their constant back and forth bickering.
Yeah, and how they kind of just like broke up. Yeah, and went their
Just
separate
like,
ways.
well,
I
then
love
leave. Fine, I will.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping the chickens.
Yep, I was gonna say I'm a big chicken guy. I love the chickens throughout the whole movie. Sonny and Cher,
Sonny and
they were
Cher.
one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
He was like, "Why don't you eat them? You can't eat them. They have such small brains."
Right, they do.
And they're my friends. I can't eat these ones.
That's- I
We'll go to a whole chicken factory and I'll eat those, but we can't eat Sonny and Cher.
Being a chicken owner, I feel the exact same way as Venom. I can't eat my own chickens; they're my friends.
Yeah.
I thought that whole scene was hysterical. Venom out on his own, going to like
God, to
that
the rave.
rave was hysterical, and it fit perfectly for like. You want to talk like the last review Cap was talking about like woke stuff. It was kind of woke, but it was perfect. Like it made the most sense. If anybody fits into like the San Francisco
Rave.
rave nightlife scene, it's Venom, a symbiote who could morph into anything he wants. He fits in with that crowd
Yeah,
perfectly. I'm not trying to be. I'm
everybody.
not trying to be a dick. I'm literally
No,
saying he fits
but like
perfectly into that.
everybody thought he was in a costume,
Right.
and
Right.
he was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
but it's just like him with like glow bracelets
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
him,
I
and
never thought
then
I'd see Venom wearing like glow
and
sticks.
then it's like he literally drops out of a body, just leaves the dead body, and continues walking, finds somebody else, and attaches on, and
Well, I
then
don't think they were dead. I think he just
no,
literally
I
zapped them of all their energy,
I
basically.
think they die.
Really? I don't
I
know.
think that's what happens. He's sucking all the life out of them. I think
I think he just exhausts them. Like they,
maybe.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
they died.
I can't see him because if he was gonna do that, he would just eat him or something. You
I
know?
mean, I guess, but I think once there's no life left to them, they're not going to taste that
Yeah,
good.
that's true.
So, and then I want to point out when he gets on stage, everybody thinks he's doing like some slam poetry type thing, but he's literally just like
Speaking from the heart.
explaining his life story
Yeah.
about how much he misses Eddie.
Yeah.
But the girl that was like rapping beforehand literally has a song called Venom.
Does she?
Yes, it's a
Makes
TikTok thing.
sense. Okay.
And it was apparently, I think, Tom Hardy that got her to be into the movie. The song itself has absolutely nothing to do with Venom. It's literally a woman empowerment song,
I gotcha.
but they like edited it for the movie itself. So I thought that was kind of cool to get her. I like heard her voice and I was like,
It's a little
I
Easter
know
egg.
this
It's an
person.
Easter egg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clever. Very
And I
clever.
like how she's just like, okay, like cool, you interrupt my set. I don't know how to follow this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I thought that whole scene was well done. It was funny. Like I said, my favorite part of the movie was the relationship between Eddie and Venom. The rest wasn't great.
I like when Venom goes to the little like Asian shop and decides he's like I can't do this, and she's like, where's Eddie? He goes, I'm done with Eddie. Like takes over the little Asian lady. I can't remember what her name is. I think it's Mrs. Chen, but I might be wrong. And Eddie walks in and she's like, oh, Venom said he doesn't need you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, hold up,
Right.
no, Venom, come out right now.
Yeah. They have a good dynamic, the two of them. I'd
But-
say, which is funny again because it's just Tom Hardy. It's not like Venom. We're speaking here as
He's
if Venom's a
literally
real
fighting
person.
with himself.
But I mean,
the
even
entire-
for us, like we're speaking here like Venom's an actual actor. It's just Tom. It's just a
Tom
CGI
Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's think of it that way. It's a very good job of acting by Tom Hardy. I have to say.
Yeah, for sure. And then, oh my god, my brain keeps blanking today.
That's okay. Why don't we give our rating at this point for the whole
Shouldn't we go
movie?
over the end scene?
Yeah, we will,
Or do
but
you want to do the
The rating,
Rating
first, yeah,
first?
because this the rating, the end scene kind of I'm not factoring in the end scene into my rating of the movie
Okay.
because it doesn't make sense.
end scene was the best part of the movie?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah.
I give it like a 7.
Okay.
I did enjoy the movie as a whole. It was a good little like comedy action type thing. Could have gone my whole life without seeing it. Yes.
Okay.
Like it's
Yeah, I agree.
it's not like the must see Marvel movie of like
Right.
the year.
Yeah, I agree with you definitely. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It was a movie that I would have rather watched when it came out on, Disney
Like
Plus or
HBO.
HBO or whatever. That's kind of the way. That's the
didn't
way.
need to pay for
I
it.
wouldn't have. Right. If I could get my money back, I would. I wouldn't go to the movie theater and watch it again. I do it. I watched the first one on I think HBO Max. When
Yeah.
I was like, oh look, Venom's out. I'll watch it now because it's
I
free.
saw that one in
and
theaters,
then it was a little bit more enjoyable because it was free. And when things are free, everything's better. So yeah, a 6 out of 10. It was good. The best part was the relationship between Eddie and Venom. The rest was kind of lame and cheesy, and I didn't really like it. So let's get on to the end credit scene, which was the best part of the movie, which is why I didn't want to include it in the movie
Into the
because how could you have
rating, yeah.
10 seconds of footage overrule the rest of the
So-
body of work?
I will say, I didn't think. I'm gonna say my opinion before I explain this. Before we explain the scene itself, didn't think that was gonna happen.
I did.
Did you did? I
I did. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I did
you're
just
fine.
because of people's stupid spoilers on TikTok. And like the fact, it's not even that I saw it, it's that people were so hyped. I'm like, okay,
see.
I know it's going to happen.
I only saw that one TikTok video and I scrolled past it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that like broke my FYP to not like keep
Show
showing
you
it to
that.
me.
Yeah.
But I will say, I really didn't think it was gonna go that way. Seeing it now, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I can't recall if the first Venom R-rated or was it PG-13.
I don't know. Good question.
Let me check. hold on.
I feel like this was PG-13 also, wasn't it? Or no?
This one was
They,
PG-13.
right, they had one F-bomb in it. You're allowed one
Okay, so
F-bomb.
they were both PG-13. So I think I was talking to Danny, and he was like hoping that it was R-rated. So after seeing the scene, I'm like, well, now I understand why it's PG-13. We're gonna give it out.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Venom's now part of the MCU. End scene is they decide to go on vacation,
Which was funny.
which
Yeah,
like,
they're on the beach together.
but they're like in like a hut, like they're literally just like
Yeah.
in like a shack, like they're not staying anywhere. All of a sudden, Venom's like, I'm gonna just show you my entire mind and how I know literally everything. All of a sudden, everything warps, and now they're in like a fancy hotel room, and you realize, oh, they're in a whole new universe now, because everything just changes. Some guy walks out of the bathroom and is like, "What are you doing in here?"
Right.
And the news report shows Peter Parker is Spider-Man,
Right.
and Venom's like, "Oh, I want that one."
Yeah.
So here we go.
So
He's
let's theorize what exactly happened though. I know Venom's like, you don't know like what our symbiotes have seen, and I'll show you, but I have a feeling it had something to do, like everything seems to what happened in Loki, right? And I don't understand how, does Venom just teleport him into another universe? I don't think so. I feel like maybe at that exact moment they were just talking, and at that exact moment is the moment
multiverse
that
crashed.
Kang and Sylvie and Loki had the
So,
whole fight, and that's what happened.
I think it just happened to work out in that exact moment.
Right.
That at first I'm thinking like, oh, like we're going into like Eddie's brain or something, and it's or like Venom's brain, and he's like showing Eddie everything, and then it's like, no, that's not what it is,
Right.
because even they're like, where the hell are we?
Right.
I think at the exact moment he was gonna go explain everything, the multiverse crashed.
Right.
And now my question is, why is he like so infatuated by like Peter? Because that was a little weird. He like licked the TV screen. He was like, "Ooh."
Well,
Like,
if you know Venom and
don't.
Venom. Okay. Well, Venom and Spider-Man are like enemies.
Okay.
For the most part. So it makes sense that Venom has some sort of
Like,
natural attraction.
I know that's a part of like
Well,
Spider-Man
yeah,
3, but again, I never
yeah.
watched that movie to know
Venom
the
is
full
basically
extent.
Spider-Man's
Enemy. Like,
main enemy,
Okay.
kind of one of Spider-Man's main enemies, who who became so popular that they gave him his own stuff because he's
Yeah.
a very popular character. So I don't know. There's that natural attraction. That's my enemy. Like I need to go
but that
after him.
like
Now,
that's
you know
the
what
thing,
I
because
mean?
I'm like, okay, I know like in Spider-Man 3, Eddie Brock is against like Peter Parker or whatever, but I was like, in this situation,
He doesn't know him
Venom
at
doesn't
all.
even know who he is. So I was like, why is he all of a sudden like, oh, I
Well,
want
maybe
this one.
there's more to it. Like Venom is saying
Like maybe
that he knows.
maybe it's something that we didn't get to see because the multiverse changed.
Right,
So
or maybe-
he
maybe-
like already knows
Right.
Peter
Maybe. Right.
from
or
a
something.
different universe, because he is from space. So like, who knows
Right.
what he
That's true.
knows
Right.
outside
Right.
of this.
The symbiotes are from space, so he says he has more knowledge than you think.
So there's a chance he already knows about the multiverse.
Right,
Just
maybe.
didn't expect to be dropped into a whole new universe.
Right, or not something you just randomly talk about to Eddie Brock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like why am I
until
going to
this
tell you
thing-
about this?
So it's interesting. I'm wondering where it goes now for Venom. Where is he going to pop up now within the MCU? Because he's obviously
Is
now in there.
he
So
going to pop up in Spider-Man?
maybe I would think so. Right? I feel like the Spider-Man Far From Home movie is going to be just
There's
a
going to be
huge
so much going on.
conglomerate. I don't know exactly, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of multiverse stuff going on in there, and they've purposefully hid it from all of us.
Here's me hoping that they really do go through with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming in, and you got Tobey Maguire being like, "Oh my God, that's Venom," but
Again,
like, wait,
who's
that's
that?
not the Eddie Brock I know.
Yeah. We'll see. Because now whose side is Venom going to be on? Is he going to go be a bad guy? Is Eddie Brock going to all of a sudden be a bad guy? I think also the main thing here is Spider-Man is still owned by Sony as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now Sony has given themselves an in to bring Spider-Man into the next Venom movie as well. So now they could, although they're still going to do stuff with Fox, with Disney and the Marvel side of things, they're now like kind of making their own little universe a little bit bigger because they've agreed to play ball with Disney. So now I'm sure, why am I blanking on Spider-Man's name? The actor?
Peter Parker, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Now they've given Tom Holland a way to get into the Sony universe more, as opposed to just his own movies. There's also the Mobius movie, or is it Mobius or
Morpheus.
No, Morbius. Morbius.
Is it Morbius?
The vampire guy.
Is it Morbius? I thought it was Morpheus.
I don't know. I could be wrong. There's that. So
I feel like it can't be Morbius. Mobius is Loki.
Yeah, Morbius.
So you might
maybe.
be getting it
Morbius.
mixed
I
up.
don't know. Anyway, the vampire guy. So they're kind of expanding their little Sony corner of the MCU and giving themselves more options. They have now 3 movies. You know what I mean? Within their thing that kind of work. We'll see. We'll see if the other one
I
works
feel
with
like
the MCU. But
from what I've seen, little bits and pieces here, the Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3 hates Peter Parker. And I feel like just from what I've seen, him and like Venom have morphed into one. Whereas this Venom and this Eddie are 2 separate entities sharing the same body. Like they both have different personalities. So I feel like that's going to play a part into it. Like it might be another situation of Eddie versus Venom. Like internally.
maybe. Right.
Because like we saw it in this
Maybe
movie, like they really just kind of like annoyed with each other, but they need each other.
Right.
Whereas from what I've seen, it looks like that Eddie Brock is
Good point.
just a little bit
Good point.
more
So
kind of on the same wavelength as Venom.
So you're making a good point, right? So the best part of so far the first 2 Venom movies have been the dynamic between Venom and Eddie.
Tom Hardy versus Tom Hardy.
Throw Peter Parker into the loop, and now you have another like jealousy, anger. I want Peter Parker. I don't want you anymore. I need, you know what I mean? Like it adds another layer to their relationship with each other. I would really love to have the 3rd Venom movie have Spider-Man as the villain, right? So not that he's the villain, but you're seeing, which never happens.
Was it like the
never
Black
happens.
Spider-Man?
No, not even that. But like it never happens in movies. You never see a movie through the eyes of the villain, and the hero is the bad guy in the movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's never really happened as far as I can remember. I'd like to see. I want to watch a movie of like the Joker and the Batman is
You're
the bad.
seeing Batman. You're seeing
From the
Batman
perspective
from the perspective
of the bad
Joker.
guy. Exactly. I'd like to see that. I think that'd be interesting to see.
Like why the villain is so against.
Right. You're seeing everything from the
guy.
villain's perspective. So although you know, hey, that's the good guy over there, Spider-Man, but you'll maybe not like Spider-Man for this movie because of whatever reason, because you're watching from Venom's point of view.
Yeah.
I think that would be a pretty
That'd be
interesting way for them to go with Venom 3. But we got a ways to go before
What
then.
if season 2?
Yeah.
Make that an episode.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
All right.
Anything else you want to add?
I'm excited for Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too. I think that's going to be the best movie out of the whole next
I will
ones.
say, watching the movie like in theaters, when that end scene came on, I'm telling you, the entire theater erupted.
Did it really?
Like everyone was like, "Yeah!" I have Danny in my ear screaming, and I'm like, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that was my only reaction.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like screaming because I'm theater etiquette. I'm trying to be nice, like.
Yeah.
But I was like internally screaming, but everybody else was outwardly screaming.
I haven't enjoyed really going back to the movies. This one that I went 2 days ago. There was like nobody there. It was like me and like 4 or 5 other people.
Yeah.
And some people left when the movie ended. I'm like, who is still leaving early for Marvel movies?
People that don't understand.
Yeah. So
like, it's like with today with What If. I was speaking to Danny. I was like, "Oh, did you see the end scene?" He goes, "No, I just expect them not." I was like, "Every Marvel show has an end scene at the last episode.
yeah, exactly.
It's always the last episode."
So yeah, I've kind of enjoyed. I enjoyed the Black Widow way we did it more. I'm just like I kind of enjoy now just watching things in my own house. I'd rather
speaking
pay
of
for
Black
it.
Widow, she won her lawsuit.
Did she? Good for her.
Yes.
What does that mean? She gets money.
They settled it out of court, so they just gave her money, pretty much.
I'm sure Disney will be fine.
And now it's free. So,
All right. That's our Doom review, everybody. Don't forget to check out our What If reviews also. That is concluded. Yeah. And I'm sure we will review every other Marvel thing that comes out in the future, especially the new movies. Eternals.
We got 3. We got Eternals, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man.
Yeah. So we'll be here. Later.
Yes, bye.